I'm your host, Chris, and with me tonight we have Caleb.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, K-Train?
Not too much, Just another day, another week. More games getting announced.
Another day, another dollar.
We got just a couple weeks here until Persona, which is exciting.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm not as excited as I was originally.
Yeah, I think it's because, it's taken so long since they announced the game. Like, I remember us taking apart the trailer, 2 years ago.
We took
Maybe
apart the
a year
first
ago.
trailer, we took apart the second trailer, remember when the website went live, and we took apart the website before there was even a trailer or anything?
I do remember that. Yeah, and that's the thing. We've been so hyped for so long. At this point, it's like, it's going to come out. It's going to be cool, I guess. But there's also been a ton of other awesome games already this year that we are still paying a lot of attention to. So it's hard to, I don't know, to suddenly be ready to make time for that with everything else that's going on in gaming.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that are just joining us, this is episode 201. We don't really have a plan for tonight's show. We're just going to kind of catch up on what's been going on in the news, talk about that a little bit. I guess we could talk about what we've been playing, even though I will be honest with you, I really haven't been playing much.
Okay.
But
That's fine.
I guess that's what we're doing tonight because we don't really have a topic for this evening. We're still kind of coming down from episode 200.
Yes, and we're still waiting for Hull to come back.
He'll be back. He's still not feeling well.
Someday.
All right, so what do we got? What do you want to talk about? I know that you went over a bunch of... You sent me a text message with a bunch of stuff that was like, we have to talk about this and that and this.
We don't have to talk about all of them, but I think most of them, and there were a couple others I thought of later, had some note as far as news. Well, first off, I remember there were a couple things that happened last week, and I was happy for our 200 episode, but at the same time, I was kind of frustrated that some of those things happened that we didn't get to talk about that week. And I'm trying to remember what it was now. All I really remember was that Colin Moriarty was one of them, because I was curious what some of the people here thought. But yeah, so I guess we can start with that. I don't know if you've paid a lot of attention to it or had a lot of interest in it yourself.
I don't have a ton of interest in it. I used to be a huge fan of like Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty, and when they were at IGN, I was huge fans of them. But I've matured a lot, and Greg, for the most part, his brand of comedy has been juvenile, is how I like to say. I don't like that he doesn't take anything seriously, it seems. I've kind of moved on from that. I really like Colin's writing. I like that he's very insightful when he talked about games, and he's very knowledgeable on the subject of games and the history of games, which I really always really dug. I've always loved people and loved articles about the history of like game companies. But he left kind of funny because he made a stupid joke, and SJWs jumped all over him, including Greg. Greg and Nick basically threw him under the bus.
Oh, okay. I see.
And he left kind of funny, and now he's doing his own thing where he's doing, like, history and politics. He just started a new YouTube show. Like, came out today, I believe.
Oh, did it really? I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Went straight for the political show.
Yeah, well, Colin's always been really into politics. He's never really agreed with what what you would consider the average gamer, I guess. Like, he's very conservative with more liberal-leaning social policies. Like
Is that the standard for most gamers? I didn't know there was a trend.
Well, most gamers seem very liberal. Like most gamers seem very liberal, whereas Colin was very, very, very conservative.
Oh yeah.
but liberal
Sounds like
when it came to social issues. Me and him, I saw eye to eye with a lot of the things politically leaning that Colin does. I'm very much I very much believe in fiscal conservatism, and I'm very, very socially liberal. Except I don't like SJWs. Like, that shit's gotta knock that shit out. So yeah, that's basically what happened. I don't really give a fuck because I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care about IGN. I don't care about Kind of Funny. I don't care.
Okay.
They're not good. It's like regurgitated bullshit.
Oh, I haven't seen them, so I don't actually know myself. But I just thought it was interesting in the light of the who was it a few weeks ago that got in trouble for saying something? I'm trying to remember. Because I feel like this is like the second time that a pretty big person, maybe even the third or fourth, that a pretty big person in the gaming industry has been like, oh, it was PewDiePie was the other one. Just the weird political divide in the gaming industry, or at least in the gaming community, I should say.
Yeah, but PewDiePie's thing was really fucked up.
It was pretty bad.
Like, it was worse than Colin's.
Yeah, it sounds like Collins has been happening for a while.
Yeah, that's his brand of humor, though. Like, okay. He's a comedian. That's what they do. But he's just a very dry comedian.
Okay. It's just really interesting to me how politics is affecting gaming, even while not necessarily having a lot of importance necessarily as far as gaming. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just kind of the place we're in right now as a country and a world, I guess. But
it's not really politics that's affecting them. It's the idea that we have to be careful what we say and what we do and how we say it. It's like I'm getting sick and tired of a lot of the bullshit, and I know I'm probably going to get flack for this from a lot of people. But I'm sick of everybody crying because of words. I'm sick of everything always attacking somebody. Like, if I don't like something, therefore you're attacking me on a personal level, so therefore I have to say that you're being politically incorrect. That pisses me off to no end. It's like the people that were like, oh, Horizon Zero Dawn is appropriating Native American culture because they call them tribes.
Did somebody say that?
Yeah, that was a huge thing like a week or two after Horizon came out.
Oh, geez. I guess I wasn't paying attention to what was going on around Horizon.
And I was like, tribes have been used across the world. Across the world, the word tribe has been used. And it's like, nope, they're appropriating Native American culture. They're wearing animal skins, and they call them tribes.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my god. And it's shit like that really makes me mad.
Okay. I can understand that. I don't know if I've seen... I'm trying to think of what and how that's come out in the gaming industry. What examples can you think of other than that? I'm trying to think. I know there's more. I'm blanking right now.
We can talk about Horizon Zero Dawn and the guys that are like, oh, the only reason that the main character in Horizon Zero Dawn is a female is to placate to the feminists.
That's dumb.
There's that too, and I'm like, nah, there's nothing wrong with a strong female main character. And then you have feminists that are like, oh, the only reason that there's a female lead is because she's hot, and therefore guys want to stare at hot ass all day.
Oh, well, this is a mess.
Yeah, the world is a mess right now.
Yeah, there's just a lot of trouble all in general. Maybe we should leave Colin Moriarty and that here for now, and just kind of put that down and move on to happier topics.
I'd rather talk about something good.
Let's do it.
But we can't. We got to talk about something bad again. We got to talk about Mass Effect reviews.
I think so. I read some of the reviews, and so first off, super interesting how none of the reviews I read, even like the ones that gave it like pretty poor reviews, they really didn't say much about the facial issue. Like, it just didn't seem to be a problem to them, although they still ragged on a bunch of other things. So, but regardless, do we want to talk about that actually while we're here?
Well, we can get to the page. Let's talk about the review stuff first.
Okay, that's fine. It's getting okay reviews.
It's getting 7s. It's averaging around 7s.
Yeah, 6s, 7s, a couple 8s, but mostly just kind of in the decents pile.
And people are losing their shit that it's getting 7s, like worst game ever made, and all this other happy horse shit. And I'm like, it's a fucking 7. You know what else? You know what else averaged out to a 7?
What?
Doom averaged out to a 7, and Doom was fucking amazing.
Doom was pretty amazing. Would you say Doom was? Did it average out to 7? I thought it got better reviews, but
it got like it got good reviews. It got like 7s, like mid 7s.
All right, well, I guess that's not too bad.
The reason that everybody's like losing their shit over this is because we got Horizon, which got high 8s. We got Zelda, which got pretty much perfect scores. We got Nier, which got high 8s.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, here's Mass Effect, and it gets mid 7s.
Doesn't match up to everything else.
So who was it? Worst game ever.
Who was it who said that they thought Mass Effect last week during the special episode? Who was it who said that they thought Mass Effect was going to be the biggest downer of the year?
I did.
Was it you? Okay.
I did. I thought it was going to be the biggest disappointment. It wasn't going to live up to its expectations. And it seems like it's not going to. It seems like it's not going to live up to its expectations.
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty far removed from the original Mass Effect to a surprising degree.
Except for the combat. I heard the combat is completely and totally ripped from Mass Effect 3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's... Okay. I prefer it to not be totally ripped, but... Alright.
I'd rather have Mass Effect 2's combat.
Yeah, I like to. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say. So I reading the reviews and just listening to what people had to say about it, and what people liked and didn't like. It actually sounds like a pretty interesting game to me and my particular tastes. So I'm actually kind of curious to try it now, just even if the reviews weren't amazing. I mean, I'll probably wait till it goes down a little bit. As far as price, but
it's already $10 off at retail.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just spent part of my paycheck on Persona and making sure I had that pre-ordered.
I'm just letting you know that it's already not like it's already $10 off. It came out Tuesday. It is Thursday. It is already $10 off at retail.
Yeah, it's. But I'll have to give that a try soon. So I'm at least excited for that. I don't know where I'm going to fit it in with the rest of everything else going on this year, even just these next couple months, but we'll see.
Well, for me, I think I'm going to play it after Persona.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's anything between Persona and, like, August for me.
Oh, well, okay. I feel like we have to go back to the calendar. I'm trying to remember what comes after Persona. Is there... anything in like June?
I don't think anything. I think August is the next time. I'll look it up. You keep talking Mass Effect, since you read more reviews than I did, it seems.
Yeah, so it sounds like the biggest issue that a lot of people had with the game, which is kind of interesting, because this is... So I said this about The Witness, that I had problems with that game because it didn't have a story, and it felt like there wasn't really anything tying together what I was doing as far as solving all these puzzles, and like the puzzles were fun. But Mass Effect is the exact opposite. A lot of people don't like it because the story is kind of not straightforward as far as like there's not even a villain to like the last third or quarter of the game.
See, most of the time... That makes me happy.
See, that's great. Yeah, so the problem that most people had with it was that there's so much emphasis on exploring, there's not a story for like the first half of it. And so, like, I don't mind that. That sounds great to me, honestly. That was one of the reasons why I spent like 40 to 50 hours on the first Mass Effect, when I was just literally exploring every planet I could and and doing all of the side quests. So that's super interesting to me, and I'm actually really curious to try it now, to see if that really is a problem. I mean, it sounds great if that's what you want. So we'll see. But what do you got, Chris?
Okay, so we have Persona 5 on April 4th, and then I'm looking through this list, and I'm like, okay, Yooka-Laylee, which I want to see the reviews on. That's April 11th. We have Injustice 2, which I'm really interested in. That's May 16th. Prey's at the beginning of May. But then there's nothing. There's nothing in June unless you want to play Dirt 4 or Tekken 7. And there's nothing in July. In August we get Middle-earth: Shadow of War, which I'm really excited to play. And that's it. That's what we got. So we have like Persona 5, I guess Injustice.
When is Injustice again?
May 5th.
Did you say?
May 16th, excuse me.
Oh, I don't know if I'll purchase that day one, but I am still interested to see it. Yeah, I'll probably pick that up at some point.
And then we get the sequel to Shadows of Mordor back in August.
That's right. That's right. Which again, I'm curious to try. I don't think I'll pick it up right away. Are you going to pick it up right away?
Yes, I am. I'll buy.
Okay.
That's a day one buy for me.
That's what I thought.
I love the first game. I love that first game. Like, Shadow of Mordor was one of my favorite games the year it came out. And just all the stuff. It's like a really, really, really good Assassin's Creed game meets Lord of the Rings with like really cool mechanics in it. And I'm really excited to see what they do with Shadow of War. Even though I don't think that it needs to be tied into the Lord of the Rings franchise. Like, even slightly.
Yeah. I think I like that they tried to make it tie to the franchise in the first one, even if it didn't entirely work, and it was still pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I guess it could stand on its own.
Like, my biggest problem with the lore of the first one though is that the elf dude that possesses you supposedly forged the One Ring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Sauron forged the One Ring in secret when he was hiding out with the elves. That's how that happened.
Yeah.
What is this bullshit that you're trying to do?
But now you get to forge a ring. Isn't it cool, Chris?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Oh, I was expecting much more hate.
I can't. Because I will sit here and I will talk about Lord of the Rings mythology for hours upon hours upon hours.
Yeah.
We talked about this in a chat and I went off and I think I scared you and Hollow with my knowledge of the Lord of the Rings mythos.
There's some good knowledge, you know.
And it's like the way that the timeline's broken down and stuff, it's like the way that this game's going to run is it's going to bump into either The Hobbit or The Fellowship.
Somehow, yeah. But I mean, it's supposed to happen right after The Hobbit, right? I can't remember the exact dates.
Well, that's the thing, is the first game takes place after The Hobbit.
Yeah.
So, at this point, they're gonna bump into The Fellowship. Well, at least Gollum. And if they're gonna bump into Gollum, if they're in Mordor, they're gonna bump into Legolas, because Legolas was tracking Gollum through Mordor before he got captured by the Dark Ones. Which was 15 years before the Ringwraith showed up in the Shire and the Battle of the Shire happened. So, yeah, I don't understand. That was another thing that pissed me off about the last game, was that for some reason Gollum was in Mordor already, and I don't know why.
Fine.
He shouldn't have been there yet.
He shouldn't have been there.
He should have been in Mirkwood at the time.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Mass Effect. Can we go back to Mass Effect?
What else about Mass Effect do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the facial animations.
The facial animations going nuts that people are really unhappy about, supposedly.
I'm really scared because I've watched a few videos and they're really bad.
So I actually, surprisingly, have not watched the videos yet. I heard that the facial animations were bad, and my first thought was, yeah, I mean, they were shit in the first one, at least for your created characters. Because I remember spending a lot of time on my first character, making him look what I thought was cool at the time, but because it didn't jive with the facial animation software of the first game, his smiles looked like horrible, creepy Joker smiles, and it was just terrible. So I don't know. Is it that same problem? Is it a bigger problem? What is the issue with this one?
It's kind of like the same problem that I have with Horizon, where you'll be the faces are really nicely detailed, and like when they open their mouth, you can see all their teeth. But when they talk, their mouths move, like the fleshy part of their mouths, but the inside of their mouths don't really move.
Oh,
And their facial animations are really, really exaggerated sometimes.
oh, jeez.
So it's
Okay.
like somebody will be like, "I hate you," and their entire face will look like they just sucked on a lemon. And you're like, "What am I watching?" It's like they're scary, like kind of that like uncanny valley-ish, because the models look really, really good. So to have them kind of not move quite right is kind of jarring, and it's one of the reasons that we pick it apart so bad, and it's one of the reasons that everybody's picking apart so bad, is because the character models are so beautiful that these unnatural movements that they're doing is just really jarring to our human brains. If you at all understand what I'm trying to get at.
No, I do, and that's interesting. I mean, obviously now I have to watch the videos. They sound pretty terrifying, but also hilarious, which seems like that's what everybody's saying. So, I'll have to give that a try. Unless that tapping is you looking for the video right now,
Oh,
the best one you can find.
Of course, that's me looking for the best one that I can find.
The best one. Here we're just waiting in suspense for the video. Oh, is it there?
Here we go. I found it. Here we go.
Okay. Okay.
This one is just called Funny Faces Compilation.
Okay.
So you should be able to get a gist of what's going on from this.
So anyway,
Like,
I can already tell this is going to be good. But while I'm doing this, maybe we should keep talking.
yeah, we're going to talk about the models and how they go cross-eyed and they look really kind of awkward, like shifty-eyed and like scary looking.
Yeah,
like-
some of
Like,
some of these are pretty bad. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, no, it's Yeah, it just, and this is all the characters, I guess.
look at how bad some of these are.
Wow, ooh. We got some cross-eyed action. We got some split-eyed action.
Wait for the shifty-eyedness. They will get their eyes will just kind of like ping pong back and forth in their skulls.
Wow,
It's so bad.
yeah, it's
Like, it's
Oh, jeez.
really bad.
These are great. How is this not being mentioned by reviewers? I don't know. Maybe I haven't read enough reviews. But
Wait till you get towards like the 1 minute and 57 mark, and you start seeing people just start popping in.
I'm at 102, and I'm pausing it right now so we can continue. I feel like there's more going on than Mass Effect and Colin Moriarty. What was the list that I posted? I'm trying to remember now.
Oh, hold
Let
on,
me
I'll pull it up. I just paused it on a really bad screen.
Oh, jeez.
If you guys could see the screen that I just paused this on. Oh, my Amazon refund went through. Yay, refund.
You can screenshot it real quick, I guess, while you're doing your thing.
You said Colin Moriarty, Andromeda, Nier. What's Nier? Talk about Nier.
Yeah, just brief talk about Nier. I guess we've talked about it a decent amount, but just a quick note as far as the game. So I don't know if you know this, but this is about Yoko Taro's games. But he really likes having like 4 to 5 endings that you slowly unlock sequentially. That like each reveal a little bit more about the characters and about the world. And so you beat Nier once as a particular character, and then you literally start the game over as a New Game Plus, but you're playing as the second character who was originally just the sidekick, and he has different there's different cutscenes and stuff because he's a different person and he experiences different things as you're going through the story.
Kind of like Nier 1 where the second playthrough you can start understanding what the shades are saying.
Yeah,
okay.
and in his you start seeing a little bit more of the backstory of the characters you're interacting with and what's happening and why robots are doing the things that they're doing when they go insane. But yeah, so you play the whole game a second time, and it's like 10 to 15 hours. It's faster the second time because you carry all your levels and all your gear with you. But you beat the game a second time, and then you start your same file over again, and instead of playing the game a third time, you literally jump into a different scenario altogether, like a whole nother plus game. And some crazy shit happens, and you end up playing as 2 different characters for that next scenario that somehow ties into the first one. And I'm like still going, like the amount of content in this game is kind of shocking. But it's a really amazing story, and I would definitely recommend you check it out if you do get a chance, Chris. It's super fucked up, like in some really horrifying ways. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to tell you anything that happens, but it gets weird, like almost immediately from the get-go, and it just keeps going down into a dark place.
One of the main reasons I want to check this game out is because you sent me that video, and I had no idea that Nier picks up from the joke ending of Drakengard.
Which was not a good game itself. Drakengard had the same thing.
I love Drakengard.
Did you love oh my gosh, okay.
It's like, it is the game that everybody made fun of me for liking before everybody made fun of me for liking Damnation.
Okay, I can see that. See, this is so interesting because this game, which apparently has a pretty good story, but most people hate the gameplay of, which is a common theme in Yoko Taro's games. So Drakengard 1 was the first game I ever bought as a child that disappointed me to the point that I put it down in like a few hours and was just done with it. Like, it was one of my first major like letdowns of a game. So it's interesting to hear you say how much you like it. I really
like Drakengard. Like, really like Drakengard.
Did you get all of the endings?
I don't remember. You have to remember this game came out 2005,
14 years ago?
2004.
Oh, okay, yeah, 13 years ago maybe, yeah. Ooh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm pulling up the wiki because I wanted to know what year this came out. This came out in 2003.
So Drakengard 2003. Holy shit! Yeah. So Drakengard was a game that I guess sold surprisingly well. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but did good enough for them to make not only a sequel but a third one just a few years back. I've never played any of them other than that first one, but I've heard that they're really not great games. Have you played the second or the third one at all?
Excuse me. I played, I believe, Drakengard 2. I never touched 3. Because I heard 3 was a prequel to the first game.
Does 2 take place right after 1?
It is a direct sequel to 1.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember all of these games being twisted in really different ways. Nier Automata is a whole different kind of fucked up from any of the others. They're very unique in that sense. But yeah, so you watched that video, which it sounded like after you watched it, you actually weren't super thrilled about the prospect of Nier at all. But apparently you've turned around on this. So what's
Well, I have a problem with games that treat that hide things that are misleading to be misleading. I have a really, I have a big problem with games that do that, because any little chink in the armor where you can be like, oh, you're misleading me just to mislead me here, really bother me. And it's one of the reasons that I'm kind of leery to play Nier. It's one of the reasons that I hate Heavy Rain. I hate Heavy Rain with a passion.
Heavy Rain's... Ooh, that's fair. I'll allow that.
There's other games. What the hell's the photography game that you showed me, and I went home and I bought it when it was like $7, and it just goes to, it misleads you just to mislead you.
Photography.
Life is Strange.
Oh, did you play through that? I'm trying to remember.
I did, and of course I saved my girlfriend instead of the fucking town. Spoilers.
Oh, see, I'll put 3 Chloes on the ground if it'll save the town. But like that was just my perspective. Was like, she was a great character, but at the same time, and it's kind of interesting that she's actually a really shitty person. And then one of the big scenes of growth towards the end is her recognizing and admitting that, yeah, she's a really shitty person.
And the fact that your photography teacher was the bad guys.
Oh, that was weird, actually. They hid that surprisingly well.
No, they didn't. I knew it in the first episode. When you were sitting there playing Life is Strange, I was like, oh, so the teacher's the bad guy. And you just kind of gave me a side eye, like, what? And I was like, because they show so many hints that he's the bad guy. So many hints. In that first episode, I was like, oh, so the teacher's the bad guy. Okay, I got it. But no, I had to save Zoe because of the scene in the train yard. The scene in the train yard where you can just shoot her and rewind time and shoot her again and rewind time and shoot her again and rewind. I probably did that for like 45 minutes. And then I
definitely did that. I definitely did that for about 5 minutes just because it's so great. But she kind of deserves it. Anyway, Life is Strange. What were we talking about originally?
Nier.
How did we get here?
Nier. We were talking about Nier and how I don't like games that mislead you just to mislead you. Like Heavy Rain, and they have you... Spoilers for a really old-ass game, and they make you play as the killer for a quarter of the game.
And
but I mean... Just like, oh, how did any of this happen?
But that's like, I mean, I don't think Nier is misleading in that way, though. I'm not after, like, watching a playthrough of it.
Hi, Panda.
I would say, huh?
Panda in chat. He wanted to know if we were doing this pre-recorded. No, we are not pre-recorded. We are never pre-recorded. We are always live.
Except when you download on podcast or Stitcher.
Yeah, unless you're listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, then we're pre-recorded. If you're listening to us on Twitch, we are live on Twitch.
Okay.
This is News Time with K-Train in the butt. That's K-Train. I'm the butt.
You're the butt?
Yeah.
I guess that's better than Chewie and Fuckface. Anyway, no, I would not say that Nier does mislead you in that way, but I would also say that at the most, if you really wanted to play Nier, you would watch a playthrough of Nier on YouTube as opposed to playing it, because I still think that's the best way to experience it, just because of how not fun the game seems to actually be to play. But the story is really interesting in that it doesn't necessarily ever like paint you out to be... So that, I mean, that's the complicated thing about Nier story, is that you and the villain, it turns out at the very end of the game, both technically have good aims in what they're hoping to accomplish, but somehow it ends up pitting you against each other, and you end up ruining a bunch of other people's lives in the process during the fight. It's really messy as far as just how fucking complicated morality can be sometimes.
No, I've watched Nier playthroughs, and let's talk about Nier Automata for a second.
Okay.
Do they do a good job of explaining do they do a good job of explaining how the shells have gotten souls?
Like from Nier?
from Nier. Like, I know the aliens are kind of like in robot bodies.
Robot bodies that look surprisingly like a meal, at least as far as the head. And that's not a spoiler for anything necessarily. I'm just saying that because I know that was something that was talked about among fans.
Yeah, I'm just asking if the shades from Nier Automata, if they explain how the shades have, if they have souls now, if they...
So yeah, there was the Gestalt and the, whatever the other one was. The Gestalt was the spirit, which was your soul leaving the body in shade form. And then there was the actual bodies themselves, which I can't remember the name for, which were meant to just be copies that kind of were in place for when the souls could then, at some point in the future, when the souls could return to their bodies.
Right, after the virus went away, yes.
Yeah, but the virus never really went away, shockingly.
Right, and then the bodies with no souls slowly started to develop souls, and the
yes.
souls that without the bodies slowly started to deteriorate and became the bad guys.
Yeah.
But really not really bad guys, because they're all... It was all a big misunderstanding in the first game.
Some were bad guys and some weren't. That's the problem, is that it's really complicated as far as the two sides have a lot of divisions in themselves, both the good and the supposedly bad, but not necessarily. So it gets really complicated, and the fact that the two beings literally can't speak to each other because they don't acknowledge that the other knows how to speak, is just makes it that much more complicated and that much worse and that much easier for misunderstandings to happen.
Right. Like,
yeah.
there's a part in the video you showed me where they're going through the second playthrough, and you come across when you can finally understand the spirits, and they come across this one part, and they're like, "What are you doing? We're just chilling. Why are you attacking us? What are you doing?" And I was just like, "Huh, that's kind of funny."
Yeah, it's they're fucked up games, all kinds.
Yeah, they're cool games.
Wait, what was the question originally? Were you saying to explain
I was trying to find out if they it's just a yes or no answer. Do they explain whether or not the rest of the empty vessels have gotten souls and become human, and are there still rampant souls that are bad guys chilling out? Or is that spoilers?
That's technically spoilers. So I mean,
okay, so don't say anything.
I will tell you. I will tell you just what the beginning of the game lays out, just to get a sense of how interesting this one is. As far as, you don't even necessarily have to have enjoyed or played the first game to really get this one. Although there are some things here and there you'll miss, but for the most part, it kind of is its own thing still, just continuing in the same universe. But at the beginning of the game, this is several thousand years after the first Nier. I don't even remember how many, just several thousand. So during this game, humans at some point supposedly, allegedly, found a way to reunite the shells and, well, the bodies and the souls that were split, the shades and the gestalts, allegedly. And there was enough of them to escape the Earth when aliens attacked to the dark side of the moon, where they allegedly live, and in their place, fighting against the aliens, they're using androids, which look, like people, but are obviously much stronger and more powerful and faster. But at the same time, the aliens themselves retreated to is not known where, and they've been using basically just mass-produced machines to fight for them. So you've got androids fighting machines, and they've been fighting for thousands of years, and that's just kind of where the game picks up.
So it's like drone wars. So it's like our drones versus your drones.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Because they've been fighting for thousands of years, some of them have started to, well, many of them really, quite a few of them, have started to develop their own sense of consciousness.
Okay.
And feelings and morality, and shit gets really twisted when that happens.
All right, let's move away from Nier. I'm done talking about Nier.
That's it. Yeah.
Your next thing says Australia, dude.
Oh, I think I mentioned that earlier.
Before podcast, you mentioned that.
Oh, I guess I did. Just a brief comment about just a shout out to the. I don't know if you guys heard about this. There was an Australian senator who, in the Senate, made some kind of huge. He made a. He was basically shitting all over the Australian Gaming Classification Board, which has chosen to drop a lot of major games over the past few years because of supposedly explicit content. And he just railed against basically the whole committee, saying that they shouldn't be able to judge, what other people play, especially adults who are supposed to be, intelligent about these things and mature about these things. And it's just a very interesting development in a country where, it sounds like you guys get things censored pretty heavily sometimes, and games just dropped altogether because Australia doesn't let games of certain content in. But there was a thing this last week about them not letting Outlast 2 in. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, Outlast 2 is banned in Australia now.
Yeah.
So,
which is that's crazy. That's just crazy.
But Australia's always been hard ass when it came to censorship, and it's not just games; it's movies, it's TV, it's everything, and they're super hard ass about it. And I guess they're like, we're too busy. Like me, I would just assume they're too busy trying to survive, constantly being on fire and attacked by poisonous animals, to give a fuck about some murder in a video game.
You would think so, but their politics can be surprisingly conservative.
I don't understand how they have politics when they're constantly on fire.
Oh my god. There's like several dozen million people in Australia today. You know that. Like, they have cities and shit. Like, it's really, really...
And they're constantly on fire.
They have a civilization. It's not...
It's an on-fire civilization. Oh my God. It's just the way of life.
They just make buildings and they just catch fire.
No. There's always some sort of fire somewhere slightly off in the distance.
Yeah, but that's how California is too. California is always fucking on fire somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be like walking around San Francisco and be like, okay...
Yeah, dude, you know.
What?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm not going to walk around San Francisco and be like, okay, this part's not on fire. The only thing I have to worry about now is bum shit and maybe a hypodermic needle here or there. I don't have to worry about, like a spider the size of my face or a snake that wants to eat my dick.
Oh, those spiders haven't killed anyone since like the 80s.
Yeah, that we don't hear about. That's because the spider just eats the whole goddamn body.
It's not how that spider works, dude.
Yeah, they just eat the whole body, dude.
That's which spider are you talking about? Like the
one that's the size of my face?
Oh, like there's ones like the size of your chest in the Arabian Peninsula and in Iran and Iraq.
But camel spiders are okay. They're kind of cool.
Are they? They don't seem cool to me.
They're more, because camel spiders don't bug me as much because they're more like scorpions. They only have 6 legs. They're not technically spiders.
What? Okay.
Like, I don't like spiders. Arachnids are okay, but spiders bug me.
Okay. That is interesting.
There's giant, like, there's a ton of animals that just want to kill you. What about drop bears?
Drop bears aren't a thing. You know that.
Dude, drop bears are totally a thing. You gotta wear a helmet when you're walking around down there.
Oh my god.
Drop bears drop on your head, fucking rip your scalp.
We've already gone for drop bears. We've hit drop bears.
Dude, it's Australia. You know what? Australians will tell you that drop bears exist, and then the government comes and tells them to be like, nah, it's just a joke, so that people come to their damn country. Drop bears are totally a thing.
Drop bears are not a thing.
Okay, and they have kangaroos. Like, we have deer here in New York and Jersey.
Yeah.
But a deer can't punch me in the mouth. A deer isn't going to steal my baby. A
deer kill a lot of people, actually.
Your baby.
Deer kill a lot of people.
A ton of people. But they don't have grubby little grabby hands and a pouch to keep shit in.
Are you just being racist against kangaroos?
No, Australia scares the shit out of me. It's constantly on fire. Like, why would I go to Australia when I go to New Zealand, which is pretty much the same exact thing with none of the bad shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they'd be scared of some of the stuff that I feel like they are scared of some of the things we talk about here, like grizzly bears and shit.
No, you know what Australians are scared of that we
What?
talk about here?
What?
Guns.
Oh well, yeah.
You know what else they're scared of? You know what else Australians are scared of that we talk about here?
What?
Freedom.
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, the Australians are afraid of freedom, Chris.
They are. If they weren't afraid of freedom, they wouldn't be banning so many goddamn games.
Well, I mean, you got me there.
Like, we got video games, as It's Panda says in the chat, video games are being made right now with Donald Trump being killed, and he isn't up the community's ask about what they can play. But you go to Australia and you can't be a photographer walking around an insane asylum that gets murdered every, 300 feet.
And raped. Which is super interesting, but
that there's nothing wrong with that. See, they're afraid of freedom. Fuck Australia. Learn how to put out fires and swim.
Wow.
Well, no, you can't even swim because there's great white sharks, and they'll just eat your ass. See,
wow.
No place in or around Australia is safe.
Safe from what? Just anything?
Like, you could die just from, like, everything. Everything is trying to kill you in Australia. Everything.
Everything's trying to kill you.
That's why they made it a prison colony, because they were just like, yo, we're just going to drop these guys off. They'll be dead in a week. No problem. No problem. They'll try to swim off. They'll get eaten by those big-ass sharks. They'll go to take a crap, and that snake that's curled up in that hole will just bite them in the dick. It's fine. Oh, I hate Australia. I don't know how we've never talked about my hate for Australia before.
I don't know how either. I'm shocked. I was not anticipating any kind of hate for Australia, especially because I work with a lot of Australians.
I like Australians. Aussies are the coolest people in the world. I have nothing against Aussies.
Okay. But you hate their continent.
But I hate their continent. It's Panda's got it exactly right. They said, learn how to talk normally. Have a British accent or an American accent. Not that in-between shit. I agree with you there. I hate the Australian accent.
All right, well...
I like New Zealand accent, though. It's sexy.
I still can't tell the difference. I'm going to be honest. I work with these people, and I can't tell the difference. Although, to be fair, most of the talking is through email, because obviously they're in New Zealand and Australia.
Well, there's an easy way to tell. If they sound like Hugh Jackman, they're from New Zealand. If they sound like Crocodile Dundee, then they're Australian.
If they sound like Wolverine,
No, Wolverine's got an English, like an American accent. If they sound like Hugh Jackman, New Zealand.
I don't think I've ever actually heard him speak, now that I think about it, in his normal accent, like an interview or anything.
Oh, he can't sounds like this, and it's kind of British, but it's not really.
Okay.
It's kind of a British accent, but it's kind of not. And for some reason, he always sounds really, really happy. Like, really happy.
Does he?
Yeah, like, always. Like, his voice is always, like, super high-pitched. Another good way to tell is, like, New Zealand kind of sounds like proper British, but not quite. And Australian kind of sounds like the redneck version of that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Panda, Caleb totally loves the Aussie motherland since he works for them. All right, the next thing you have on your list is PSN sale.
Yeah, so there's a PSN sale going on right now. Has a lot of really good games. Just wanted to do a quick shout out in case nobody had paid attention. They have all kinds of crazy, awesome sales going on in PSN all the time. It's like Steam up in this shit. It's crazy.
Okay, so what's on sale?
So their sale right now is, let me pull it up right now. It's their only on PlayStation sale, quote unquote. And there's a bunch of stuff here, honestly.
Okay, you keep saying that.
Okay, so it is a mix of independent games and like full AAA games.
Okay, what are they?
Well, I'm gonna start reading them off right now, but there's like 40 or 50 of them.
Just the big ones. I don't need a list of 40 or 50. What are like some of the big games? Come on.
God of War 3 Remastered.
Nobody cares.
Flower and Flow.
Nobody cares.
Here They Lie, Journey and Journey Collector's Edition. Resogun. Super Stardust Ultra, Unfinished Swan, Until Dawn, $10. Twisted Metal Black, $2.50. And Beyond Two Souls on PS3. Yeah, there's some decent stuff. It's a mix. I don't know.
That doesn't sound like a very good sale.
Yeah, well, you might see something in there. I mean, I think I still need to pick up Until Dawn. I might do that.
I picked that up for $7.
When was it $7? Shit.
Around Christmas time.
Oh, man. I must have been sleeping on that sale. Jesus.
You told me about it.
I did, and then I fucked up and I didn't buy it, did I? I'm trying to remember what happened. Probably that. Caleb probably fucked up.
Yeah. Panda said you sound like a feminist complaining about why they hate Trump.
Wait. I fucked up? How was that? What?
I'm just telling you.
I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean in relation to that. Fuck you, Panda.
I don't even know who this is, but I like them. You should come back every week. Oh, by the way, I can't do what I did before this cast ever again. Your next thing is PAX East. What happened at PAX East? They didn't announce Borderlands 3 like I thought they were going to.
They did not. Yeah, I was just gonna just wanted to make a brief mention of that. It was super interesting. In fact, I did not hear a lot of really big anything from PAX East, which is surprising to me, because usually you've got 1, 2, on rare occasions 3, announcements over the past several years. But no, nothing. No announcements. It's weird. What's next?
I'm looking at PAX East stuff. Steven Universe RPG coming to consoles. I don't even know what the fuck Steven Universe is. Overwatch Ford F650 Super Truck hits a car at PAX East. Okay.
News.
Dude spotted cosplaying as the worst video games of all time. They were spotted dressed as Superman 64 and E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Ew.
Hearthstone's next adventure. Oh, they announced Blackrock Mountain. No, that's from 3/6/2015.
Oh.
This is all 2015. Oh no, that's Kotaku sucks, by the way. Fuck that.
Is that why you're reading this?
Okay. Yeah, I was reading that on Kotaku. Okay, your next thing is, I'm not even going to say that because I don't know how to say it. Breath of the Wild bullshit. What is Breath of the Wild bullshit? And how can you say Breath of the Wild and bullshit in the same sentence?
Oh, jeez. Oh, don't start this. We're just gonna keep going.
No, what are you talking about? Breath of the Wild bullshit.
Yeah, just all the random things that have been coming out. I mean, I mentioned this before the cast. It's just it's such a big game. Yeah, it's one of those. But it's obviously so big that it's going to be in the public consciousness for a while. So it's really interesting just seeing what people what people end up doing with how creative you can be in the game. Like people have been. Well, some guy made an airship out of a raft and Octorok balloons or something. People are just doing really weird things. Part of it is just to be creative, and part of it is for speed running. But I don't know. Chris, have you been watching some of these things that people have come up with?
No, I'd rather be playing one of the greatest games ever made.
Are you playing it again?
No, I'm just playing it. There's more stuff to do.
Oh, you haven't. Oh, okay. I thought. Oh, okay. That's cool too.
Like, there's more stuff to do. There's always more stuff to do.
Are you gonna get all of the 900 seeds like that one guy did?
Because because the reward for getting all 900 seeds is a golden piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't understand how that made it into a Zelda game, but that's cool.
You get a golden piece of shit if you get.
There's some risque stuff in this Zelda.
Yeah, there's people that like it when you take your shirt off.
Oh, jeez. I guess there's always been some risque stuff. I just feel like it's bigger in this one than before.
Well, it's a huge game, so what's the problem with that?
No, I mean there's nothing wrong with it. That's fine. It's just funny.
If they really wanted to break the mold, they should have just had Link you have to eat in this game every to regain health and stuff. They should have made it where Link had to take a crap.
Is that what you really feel?
Yeah, I wish that there was a hold it in meter.
For one or two or both? Two different meters.
Yeah.
You should do two different meters for wow. Okay.
All right, your next thing says Evil Within 2, and this is what I want to hear about because I haven't heard shit about this.
Okay, so let me pull this up real quick just so I know what I'm talking about.
Wait, you're not prepared?
Pretty sure. Well, it was a leak, which would be very likely because it seems very likely that they would be making a sequel to Evil Within 2, since the first one actually did pretty well. And so there's a position right now that is open at the company Tango Gameworks for Q&A and translation for the game Psycho Break 2, which Psycho Break is the Japanese title for Evil Within. So basically, they were hiring for this game, and they happened to mention the name in the hiring process, and someone caught it. And so now everyone knows that, yeah, they're basically making Evil Within 2. And it's likely to be announced at E3 at Bethesda's conference, because Bethesda owns Tango Gameworks, so looking forward to seeing what they have to pull out.
A giant cock.
I guess. I don't know.
Giant cock.
Evil Within 2.
That makes me happy, though, because I love that game.
Yeah, that game, I think we've talked about this before. It was very hit and miss, but I think we both generally liked it, even if a fair amount of other people didn't. But, yeah, curious to see what they come up with after the first one, which was kind of batshit insane, and didn't necessarily leave too much room for a sequel, but I guess we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And your next thing said ETC, but you talk for a second. I will be right back.
Okay. So yeah, lots of cool things going on in the gaming industry these days. Let me go ahead and pull up some new stuff just to see what's going on. I don't know where Chris has gone. This is kind of confusing, but so Outlast 2 actually, you guys be good to hear. It actually is now clear for release in Australia, surprisingly. And let me just double check why. It sounds like it was originally barred for sales, but they didn't actually need to alter it. For some reason, Australia just turned around and said, yeah, sure, you can release the game, which is super interesting. But EA is coming to E3 this year, allegedly. They're saying they're not, but they're probably going to come. Walking Dead, the third episode of this new Walking Dead season comes out on March 28th. For you guys who are interested in that, I'll probably wait to pick it up until they're all out, but we'll see. You're
not going to pick it up. You haven't even played the other two seasons.
I played the first season.
That's it.
Yeah.
What about season 2?
I have not played season 2.
What about
I played the first
3?
episode of season 2. I have it. I've just never played it.
What about season 3?
Michonne?
No, season 3.
There's a season 3? I thought this was season 3.
No, season 3's out. The first two or three episodes are out already.
No, that's what I'm saying. Season 3 is out. No, episode 3 of season 3 is coming.
Oh, season 3.
It's coming March 28th. Next week. That is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I caught The Walking Dead, and you're like, I'm going to wait for the rest of all the episodes to come out. And I'm like, bitch, you haven't even played season 2 yet.
Season 2 was hit and miss for people.
Season 2's amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it though?
It is.
All right. What did you have to go run and do?
I had to piss.
Oh. Okay. What else we got?
You said etc. What is etc.?
Etc. was just there were some other things I had on my mind at the time. I'm trying to think of what they are now, but Dark Souls 3 DLC comes out next Tuesday. I'm excited for that. You guys should be if you like Dark Souls 3. I mean, that's all I can think of off the top of my head right now.
That's it?
Yeah. Oh, and Outlast 2 is actually now clear for release in Australia.
Oh no, really?
Wait.
No, they can't do that.
Can't do what?
They can't release Outlast 2 in Australia.
Why?
Because
Because
the dingo ate my baby.
What is that? Oh my god. What the hell, Chris?
What?
Well, it's been
the
an
dingo
interesting
did
night.
eat my baby.
It's been an interesting night. It's where we're going. Apparently, we have bones to pick with Australia as a continent, not as a people.
Not as people. I don't have a problem with the people. The people are fine. It's the animals and the landmass itself.
Hmm.
Like, why the fuck is it shaped like a boomerang?
I don't know if there was any kind of intent, and I'm pretty sure a boomerang is just kind of a symbol that we came up with, as opposed to anyway.
No, a boomerang's an actual thing that Aboriginals use to hunt kangaroos.
No, I know, but I mean, what is it? What does it matter that the landmass looks like a boomerang? That it just happened to miraculously look like something that we built? I mean,
all right, you know what? I lie. There's one thing I can name at least one thing Australia's good for.
Okay.
It's really good if you're turtling when you're playing Risk.
Fucking Australia and Risk, just hiding down there, building an army, only having one entrance way to.
It has two. It's got Madagascar and the other one.
Does it? I thought it was down in the corner, and there was only one way out.
No, you can get it from like India, and you can get it from like Russia.
Okay.
There's like two islands, but it only has two entry points with the two islands. So you just pump up those two entry points, and you just sit back and go, "Yay, 4 armies every turn!" And then you wait for Russia to get really, really dumb, and then you just go, "Bleh!"
Chris, we ready to wrap this up?
I don't know, are we?
It's
okay. When world domination happens and I take over the world with my army of penguins, Australia will be the place that I take over first, and I will rename it Mango.
Why will you rename it Mango?
Why not?
I don't know.
King of the world. I'll do what I want.
I think we are ready to wrap this up.
It's Panda's got a question for us. They want to know if we are lovers of mechanical keyboards. I don't know if you can hear this, but I am definitely a lover of mechanical keyboards. See, I really like mechanical keyboards. I have a really high-end Titan mechanical keyboard that I love to death. But it sucks when I'm podcasting.
Yeah, we can all hear you typing away on that. Okay. But are we now ready to wrap this up?
Okay, guys, if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email to podcast@gamingdeath.com. You can follow us on Facebook. Well, you don't really follow us. You can like us on Facebook, even though I don't ever really post anything in there. Facebook.com/gamingdeath. Make sure you guys come and listen to us live every Thursday at 9:30-ish Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/gamingdeath. Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play. Just look up, the Gaming Death Podcast. I almost forgot our podcast name there for a second. 201 episodes. Make sure you guys go over to geekyantics.net. That is our mothership site, where you can hear more awesome, great podcasts just like this one. I think that's everything, right? Yeah. But that's going to do it for tonight. I'm Chris.
I'm Caleb.
Have a good night, everybody.
Night, guys.
Hey, chat. Thanks very much for hanging out. We appreciate
it.
Woo! I was a little off tonight. I had a little something that I don't think I should have before I podcasted, if you can't tell.
This is fine.
I can't ever do this again. Yay!
All right.
Yay! So that wasn't good. So I appreciate you guys chat. Panda, I don't know who you are, but I hope that it's Panda, right? I hope it's Panda.
Was he here last week?
I don't know if he was him, her, it. See, I see Panda. I see Panda, and Panda always makes me think of this chick, this chick I knew whose nickname was Panda, and it also makes me think of my buddy Dino, whose name on PSN was Panda something. So, yeah, they said first time.
Nice.
So, thanks for checking us out. I have a P. Oh, okay. So it's a dude. Thanks. He has a penis. Okay. All right. We're gonna say goodnight, chat, and to be on our merry way. Have a good night, guys.
All right.